What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shonen Showdown. I'm your host, Rob, and sitting to the right of me is...
Yasin. I am the first state-certified alpha history alchemist. You're in your presence.
Don't listen to anything he's saying right now. But today we have a special episode for you guys. Today we're covering Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and we want to talk about the military officials in there. And specifically, we want to talk about two characters. We want to talk about Olivier Armstrong, and we want to talk about Roy Mustang. Now, these two individuals have done a lot in the series, with having a huge impact in helping Ed and Elric handle business and fight against the homunculi. But everything that they've done doesn't really add up. One person has surpassed the other. And even though it's very close, we're here to point you guys in the right direction. At least I am. I don't know if he is. But let's start off. Yasin, I want to start off with you. Who do you think had a bigger impact? Olivier or Roy?
Well, first I'd like to mention it's a big honor to be here on the show right now and talk about the greatest anime of all time. That's my personal opinion. You're allowed to disagree.
You're crazy. Absolutely crazy. But it is a great show.
And now going back to the topic, I would say General Olivia had a bigger impact on the overall arc of the story.
Okay.
And the reason I say that was because she was a phenomenal, strong female lead character. Not only that, she was fiercely dedicated to her people, as well as she expected the same thing from her people, that same dedication and loyalty. Okay? She protected the North from the fierce and vicious Drachma people. And on top of that, she played an essential role in the revolution that was to come. What are your thoughts, Bobby?
I mean, let's get into Olivier, because I agree with you. I think that Olivier had a bigger impact than Roy Mustang. But I think there's a couple things you left out. We got to talk about the Battle of Sloth. I mean, Sloth was a homunculus that literally was the fastest one. I know it's ironic, but Sloth was the fastest homunculus. And Olivia was standing up to Sloth initially by herself. Yeah, she acquired some help, but the fact that she was able to hold her own without knowing any alchemy, is just unheard of. All right? And Fort Briggs, I mean, let's talk about these soldiers. These soldiers are the toughest of the toughest. Like, these people were able to literally seize the main gates, right? During the whole coup d'etat, during the rebellion, they were able to basically annihilate all central forces within an instant, and Captain Buccaneer had a chance to even face off with King Bradley himself. He ended up losing, we know that, but just the fact that they were able to do that is ridiculous. And let's also not forget to mention that Olivier, at the same time, was actually taking down generals that were in on the whole Philosopher's Stone with the Father Homunculus, right? You're talking about General Raven, General Gardner. I mean, come on. Like, these people were literally getting taken out by Olivier, right? And she even told the North that, hey, look, if they find out about, Raven, tell them it's on me. Blame it on me. I'll take the hit, because I know you guys can survive without me. That's how well trained her troops are. That's how powerful she is. That's how influential she is. She did have a blunder though, and I want to make sure that I mention this.
What's that, Bobby?
I think that when she had assassinated Raven, it put the Elric brothers in a sticky situation, because now you have Kimberly coming back to the fortress, and you know who came with him? Winry Rockbelt. And I think that was a terrible situation, because now, before Olivier actually figured it out, the Elric brothers were being blackmailed. You strengthened that by actually taking out General Raven. They were able to obviously get out of that situation later on, but during that time, that confused things, and then they had to team up with Scar eventually to get out of certain situations. And I just think that's her one itsy bitsy blunder. It's not even that crazy, but yeah, that's her little blunder. But I don't think that we're giving Roy Mustang his fair justice here. So I think I want to go into why Roy Mustang, even though he is elite, has not been able to surpass Olivier as a more impactful character.
Holding you for 1 second on that.
Okay.
I would say that wasn't a blunder at all on her part.
Really?
Yes, not at all. Because I'd say that played a very necessary part in the grand scheme of things. Overthrowing General Raven in front of her own men like that, and then just tossing him in the cement pit, that showed that she gives no cares. You know, she has nothing. Like, she's not scared of anyone, and she will do whatever it takes to put the best interests of the country on top. And she showed her men that with her fierce ruthlessness and her direction, you know, her sense of direction and just where she was going, she knew exactly what she was waiting for and exactly what was coming next. Even though right after Fuhrer Bradley...
Did she know what was coming next, though? Because, again, she had no idea that the Elric brothers were being blackmailed with Winry. She had an idea that they were hiding something from her, and she wanted to find out what it was, but she had no idea about the severity of, you know, the situation. And I think that was, although it was a powerful move on the side of, you know, the military, showing, you know, how powerful the North are, or the North is, sorry. When we're talking about the Elric brothers, who are two key pieces for making the Philosopher's Stone for Father Homunculus, right? I think that had she known that, would she have done the same thing? Would she have taken out Raven in that situation? We don't know. But because she didn't know, that made it a little trickier, because now Winry comes into play, where the Elric brothers can't really play chess anymore because Winry's being held captive, basically, or held under watch by Kimberly.
Nonetheless, she's still a brilliant tactician. Did you see the way she took out the Sloth initially with the nitrogen carbon gas that they used, and then he got frozen into a big block of ice?
Yes.
That's some brilliant tactical maneuvering right there.
Right.
And that's something that I personally haven't seen from any of the other military commanders. Roy Mustang has some brilliance in that as well, but I don't think it's on par with General Olivier's.
I think this is where we disagree, because I think as a fighter, I think Roy Mustang is even better. Let me talk about his flame alchemy ability, right? This man, at a snap of a finger, was able to take down lust and able to take down envy, right? Taking down two homunculi is a crazy feat in and of itself, but at the same time, he's also been protecting almost everybody that's been around him. He protected Riza Hawkeye, right?
He wasn't able to protect Major Brigadier Hughes.
Are you serious? Wow.
He was able to protect. I'm just
Don't do that. That is so disrespectful.
His main man,
that is disrespectful. Hold on. Who saved Maria Ross from Central? Was it not Roy Mustang? Who saved Lon Fawn from Gluttony? Was it not Roy Mustang? Put some respect on Roy Mustang's name. He is that guy when it comes to battle. But
then again, because of Roy Mustang, Gluttony was able to swallow Full Metal as well as Link. Roy Mustang triggered Gluttony. When Gluttony realized he was in the presence of Roy Mustang, Gluttony broke out into a rage of fury and swallowed both the Fullmetal Alchemist as well as Link.
He did.
So didn't he also endanger his fellow?
Well, that's why I don't have him over Olivier, because although I think Roy Mustang had covered a lot of ground as a military official, I just don't think that the cons that he had are able to basically, you know, balance out and push him over the top. He has too many cons. Listen, you mentioned one already, right? My biggest con is that he allowed Pride and Wrath to perform human transmutation on him, and he ended up losing his eyesight. He was basically rendered useless for like the final battle, and he got everyone, basically father was able to produce a philosopher's stone, and you know, there's that. I just think that you cannot let that happen in a situation like that. You just cannot let that happen. And just also another blunder that he had.
Okay.
I think him getting exposed by General Raven during that meeting was huge.
Absolutely, I completely agree.
I mean, we're talking King Bradley finding out.
Yeah, he could have got killed down there. Him and his whole posse.
Well, he couldn't have gotten killed because Father Homunculus wanted to use him
as a sacrifice. For sure, but that's cutting it very close.
Right. Know, like, that's as close as it gets.
If it was anyone else, they would have just been killed.
Right.
Simple as that.
Exactly.
For example, if it was General Olivier, she definitely would have been killed.
Right.
But she was able to play it off so smooth. Yes. She went up to King Bradley and she told him, I want General Raven's position.
Right.
She pulled it off so well, and King Bradley was like, impressive. You got it, but I want you to know you have to stay here in Central, which is perfectly fine because she knew how competent her men were.
Right. She did. Olivier is a complete beast. We understand this. We are not ever going to disrespect Olivier Armstrong. Even her own brother respects her, and made sure that when he fought her, he knew what he was getting himself into, and he ended up losing instantaneously. So let's just leave it at that. But yes, going back to Roy Mustang, he could have gotten killed in that situation if he wasn't needed as a sacrifice, because, you know, please, come on, like, all the generals are in on it, and now you find yourself in a situation where Riza Hawkeye gets separated from you, your entire team gets separated from you, and now the Elric brothers are end up being blackmailed with Winry, and that puts them in a bad situation. So as much as Roy Mustang has done as a fighter and as a leader, he's taking steps back, multiple steps back actually, as a leader as well, and I think that slightly puts him underneath Olivier. Olivier does not have that many, you know, patches in her journey as Roy Mustang does.
Now going back to when Mustang went face to face with Fuhrer Bradley, I disagree. I don't think that was his biggest downfall. I would say his biggest downfall was when he let the rage, that lust for revenge, consume him when he was fighting Envy. Because essentially he was becoming what he was trying to destroy. And in his position, a gentleman in the military where he's trying to aspire for power, one of his goals was actually to become Fuhrer himself.
Right.
However, if you're Fuhrer and you're going around doing the same things that the previous leaders did, you know, what better are you? You're going around expressing all this rage and anger and just molding a path for more destruction.
Right.
How much better can you lead the country? You know? Right.
But then again, Hawkeye is always in his corner. And he planned for that. He told Hawkeye, if I ever act out of line, you by all means can pull the trigger. He let her know immediately what was going on. So I think that even if he was in a bad situation, you know, where he was losing his temper, he already had planned to make sure that even if he lost his temper, that he would have somebody to deal with him.
But you know? I wouldn't say that was his first transgression with anger. I would say his first one came in the Showdown Civil War. He promised Hawkeye's father that he wouldn't use the secret alchemy, the flame alchemy, for any ill. However, in this Showdown Civil War, he decimated entire populations, entire parts of the city. I would say he's on par, if not very second close, with Major General Kimbley in terms of destruction and chaos. Right.
I listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. Which is why, you know, there's a lot of Scar fans out there. I mean, but then again, Scar was the one that ultimately, ironically, helped him also calm down from, you know, his rage
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely. Scar gave him a different perspective on things. He shed
On vengeance.
light.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think together they have a very interesting character dynamic.
They do.
For sure.
They do. Well, that about wraps it up for today. You know, we both agree that it's Olivier. Let us know who you guys think in the comment section down below. Is it Olivier Armstrong or is it Roy Mustang? And with that, we're signing off.
Have a good one.